What's up, everybody? Today we are taking a look at a real American hero, the 1/6 scale Snake Eyes figure from ThreeZero. Now, I do have a nice special unboxing guest for us today. It's one of the Snake Eyes toys from my childhood. Now, not to date myself too much, but this actually comes back from a time long, long ago when Snake Eyes was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white dude with a messed up face. So that kind of gives you an idea of how old this fella is. A lot has changed in that time. Also, kind of fun fact about these old ones, the thumb, not sure if you'll be able to see it, maybe, is upside down. So kind of see the little thumbnail on the bottom of his thumb there. Anyway, that's enough of that trip down memory lane. Let's get cracking on this figure here. Now, it did not come with a shipper box, which of course made me a little upset. I do love my brown shippers, but it does have this nice fancy plastic protective baggie, which I'm going to try and yank open real quickly like. If you aren't too familiar with ThreeZero, they have been absolutely crushing it lately. They've got some amazing Transformers figures that have come out. They did a really cool Ed and Al from Full Metal Alchemist, if you're into the anime thing. And now they just recently started doing the G.I. Joe line. They do have a couple others planned. They got a Storm Shadow on the way, and then there is a red version of Snake Eyes and a camouflaged variant of Storm Shadow. The Snake Eyes, not too fond of the variant. The camouflaged Storm Shadow is pretty fantastic. He's got longer sleeves, has claws, super duper cool. But this is the first one that has actually come out, and just from the immediate first take of the box itself, I absolutely love it. I've been very impressed with ThreeZero in general, especially the stuff they've been doing lately, and I kind of expect the same from them. Now, if you do want a full kind of review of the figure and a little bit of a breakdown, I would highly recommend checking out Jetta Patrol's video. He did a really good kind of review of it a few months back, but I figured for folks that are looking at getting one, they're just starting to ship out now, so I figured we can kind of rip him open, take a quick look, and see what we're getting. Now, like I said, the box art is fantastic on the front. It's kind of got like an old retro 90s G.I. Joe feel to it, so I love that. And then on the side, they actually have a really cool display as well. This I actually really like, because if you were to get a whole bunch of them, and you kind of line them all up, the sides of the boxes are actually going to look really neat shelved, which is always a plus for me. Some cool little art on the back showing some of the fun stuff that you get with him. Just sort of a basic little side view there as well. I like the other side more than this, not that that matters a whole lot. And then, of course, we get the front. Now, they do typically have window boxes, which this one is no exception there, which is also a perk if you are a person who likes to keep things in box. He is wrapped in a ton of plastic, so you don't have a really great view of him through the window. But I'm going to be letting this fella breathe, so we'll get him out of carbonite and take a look at what we get with him. Alrighty, we will set that little box over yonder for now. Fancy instruction guide, and hopefully he will balance somewhat upright in all of his splendor for the moment. And he does come with a beautiful warranty sheet. This kind of gives you all the good details on the figure itself. No real reason to explore that. You can take a look at yourself if you get one. More or less it's going to cover if you have broken parts, anything sort of like that. Which, if you've seen some of the use for him, there is actually, there were a lot that had broken wrist pegs, so you may need to take advantage of that. He does also have a little bit of an instructional sheet here that just kind of shows the accessories that he comes with, where you can put them, and all of that good stuff. One thing I didn't know about him is he's got a hidden wrist blade, so that's kind of cool. That'll be a fun little thing to play with. But we will go ahead and get to the important stuff here. Now, they usually do a very good job of sealing these up. If you've gotten any of the Transformers, you'll be very familiar with that. And I'm always surprised because it usually feels like there's tape on this, but there never ends up being. There we go. He does have, looks like that's the backpack and his sheaths at the bottom. And on this side, we've got some alternate hands and stuff. We'll go ahead and just kind of pull all this out. Alright. Figure. Little knife. Little gun. Looks like a MAC-10 if I can get it out of here. Typical me with dropping stuff. This, I'm guessing, is his little hidden blade. Alright. Put a little freshness packet there. Now, if I were smart, I would have my knife with me and I would just slice through these, but I was not thinking things through very well. This is a little sword pack. A whole bunch of little grenades there. We'll take a closer look at those in a moment. Entire army worth of hands, which is always a good thing. So, let that be a lesson to all of you. There will be a lot of tape. So if you do get one of these for yourself, be prepared to untape a bunch of it. All right. So far, so good. I think it'll be easiest if we kind of go through some of the accessories and stuff first, and then we'll take a look at the important part, which is the figure. The hands, since I tend to drop, I'm going to leave them in here. He's got two attached, but we'll be able to get kind of a decent look at him through the plastic. That way I don't end up losing any. So you can kind of see they have a really good paint app. The metal and stuff is all weathered on the actual glove. And they do have kind of a fabric look for the glove part itself, so I do think that's pretty neat. Looks like you get a fist for, yeah, so you get fist for right and left, a sort of half-closed right and left, and then a right and left trigger. So that'll be kind of handy, plus whatever he comes with on his body. Grenades, they seem to load you up. Looks like you get about 3 flashbangs and 3 smoke grenades. They're not going to have any movable parts, which is good. I'm sure we'll be able to clip those onto him in various spots. Actually, looks like you might be able to pivot this. Let's see. Nope, I lied. So yeah, not much movement there. You can actually get a little wiggle on that. Don't really want to force it, but that'll probably help you clip it onto stuff. So we'll just leave those into there. That way I don't have to worry about losing them. This will be kind of fun. We can take a look at 94 knife versus 2021. It's not going to focus very well, which is terrible, but oh, there we go. Definitely scaled a little bit better. Not really sure this would work as the best of stabbing devices. I mean, you'd probably mess somebody up with it, but this looks a lot more knife-like, so big improvement on the accessories there. Then we also have the nice little handgun here. Removable magazine. You can maybe see the bullets inside. Yep, there we go. I always appreciate that they do that. Now, one little tip I will give you, anytime you have a gun, especially on one of the more quality figures that has an adjustable stock, don't be stupid and grab this part to move it. You always want to try and grab it closer towards the actual hinge and slide it out that way. And sometimes it's going to be a little more tricky to do, but you'll kind of ensure that you don't damage it. So, there we go there. This thing is pretty fragile. And it is on there pretty tight. So I can tell you for certainty, if you grab this part and try moving it, it's not going to go well. It'll probably go as well as saying the word certainty did for me. So don't do that. Definitely grab it back by that little pin area. I do like that the barrel's open. That's a weird little nitpicky thing for me. If you're any form of gun fan or shooter, it's kind of a neat little adjustment there. Other thing that's fun about that, a lot of guns will come with different smoke accessories and that sort of stuff. I'm assuming you'll be able to plug some in there, or you can make some yourself. Do a little puff of fire if you want. Also has a nice little handgun. It looks like the slide's movable. It sure is. So you get that little movable slide action, and I'm guessing you'll be able to remove the magazine on this as well. Yep. There we go. And sure enough, they took the time and did the job of painting the bullets, which I also appreciate. So that is pretty fancy there. We'll go ahead and slide that back in like so. Take a real quick look at these swords. They are taped in here. I'm going to leave them in. They look... Okay, we're going to take them out. I lied. It looks like plastic. I just want to double check that one, so we'll just yank out one. Oh yeah, they're plastic. Decent quality nonetheless, but definitely a plastic blade. You could conceivably replace them with metal ones. They make some really good 6-skill katanas that are out there. Nothing overly fancy with the design. It's definitely nice and well detailed. There's a bit of a sharp edge to it, nice little point, but nothing too exceptional there. For now, we will just tuck you back in here where you won't get lost. Ta-da! I suppose we could do a quick comparison. This is, 1990s toy katana. So, yeah, definitely a large step up in 20 years. So good job, toy manufacturing companies. You've come a long ways. Now this pretty much just looks like a sheath for his weapons, and you get extra wrist pegs, so that's handy. They gave you some extra pegs in case one does break. These I'm not going to bother pulling out, just because I'm not going to attach them just yet. Those look like a really good material on them. It's a hard plastic. They painted it really well, so you get a nice little fabric-y look to it. The sheaths are pretty well done too. This actually does seem pretty well designed. I don't think you're going to have too many problems with it. We might come back and open that up. We'll see where we're at once we're done with the figure. Now this is the important part. Gave him a nice little plastic sheath. Looking at his feet, I see something that worries me. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's go ahead and get all of this stuff off. And again, we have a moment where I wish I had scissors with me. All right. So my first impression is that this is awesome, but I'm actually just going to jump right to his feet right off the get-go. I don't like how much space is in there with the joints. Now there's going to be very few moments where you're going to notice that. Really, I can't think of too many, especially depending on how you have them posed. But something about that just looks really weird to me. And maybe once you move him around, he kind of snaps into place a little bit more. No? I might fiddle with those, see if I can get them pushed in. Yeah, no. So it really does just kind of seem like you're going to have a bit of a visible peg there. So you might have to hide that just by angling him well. So far, that's the only complaint that I have, which is a pretty small one, all things considered. So let's take a further look up at this guy and see what we got. So we're going to start up here with the head, which is an awesome head sculpt. I really like the suit's actually connected somewhat all the way up. So as you move him, at least I was at first, maybe not anymore, there was a little play with the suit. Not too much anymore, which is probably a good thing because it won't damage it overall, but I do like that it actually goes pretty far up into the head sculpt itself. The little accessories that he's got on him are outstanding. Absolutely love the little straps and the pouches. Very cool arm gauntlets here. And you can kind of get a better look at the hands. The fabric that they used is pretty fantastic. I do like that. Good news is, I don't think either of my wrists are broken, so that's a plus. Very stiff elbow joints. I honestly don't mind. Now comparatively, stay. Flashback comparison, 1990s joints. We'll see if I can pop this. Okay, that one's super stiff and not going anywhere. What about this one? Nope. So they do actually move in here with the knee, but they're just so old they've pretty much solidified at this point, and I don't want to break one of his arms off, so we're just going to leave them like that. Back to the good one. Now, one thing I do worry about the suit is restriction in movement. It does look like he's going to be able to do quite a bit, but you can imagine over time, if you have him in any position like this where the arms moved, the Arashikage symbol there is just going to probably, I feel like it's going to peel off. Maybe not. It looks like it's etched in there pretty well. I just can't see doing that over and over again. I feel like that's going to wear away at it a while. Now, he doesn't have much. Oh, yeah, he does. I lied. Just have to force him a little bit. So he's got some good locking joints. That actually makes me pretty happy, because then he'll be able to hold a lot of the poses that you do put him in. Now, my initial thoughts, just from kind of playing around with him a little bit and seeing how the suit moves, I'm not going to do too many really intense action poses with him, just because I think that might risk damaging at least the upper part. Bottom part's kind of a thinner fabric. You'll be able to get, quite a bit out of him and do a whole bunch of different kicks. Kind of cool that he's got the ThreeZero logo on the boot. But definitely has a good range of mobility, especially in the lower half. That's the big thing I'm noticing. Upper half, a little restricted just with the suit itself, but that's okay. I think you can get him in a pretty good pose that's not going to risk any real damage to it. Especially if you've just kind of got a basic museum stance, or if you're kind of having him face off against Storm Shadow down the road. Does seem like he's going to stand up pretty well. You might want to get a base for him just to play it safe, but honestly, for the most part, he's got a pretty good center of gravity, and I don't think he'll have too many issues getting him on his feet. And just for a hopeful comparative side-by-side, this guy does not stand up very much at all. We might be able to work a little balance magic, maybe. Aha, there you go. All right, so there's a then and now. I don't know, we'll just say 1991, even though I know it's not correct. It's probably like 94. But still, you're almost looking at 30 years. Difference between the two. G.I. Joe's come a long way, so it's kind of fun to see them side by side. I absolutely love the ThreeZero figure. Big fan of this one. Like I said, I'm not going to get the red suit. I think that's kind of not really my jam. But we got Storm Shadow on the road. If you are thinking about getting them, Big Bad Toy Store has them available. You can also get them through Sideshow. Pretty much any of the big name toy stores are going to have them. I believe they're right around 160 to 180, give or take. And then if you wanted any of the exclusives, the alternate colors, you might just have to do a little bit of hunting, but as much as I simp for Big Bad Toy Store, you can also get them there. So if you are looking for them, definitely a good spot to check out. Once again, overall, I would say it's a worthwhile purchase. I'm a pretty big G.I. Joe fan, so I can't really complain. I am definitely interested to see how the suit holds up over time. I'm a little worried on it, but we'll see how it goes. Time will tell in that case. But for now, and at least the immediate future, he's pretty awesome. It definitely looks like the Snake Eyes I remember. I love the mask, love the look that they did. Really just kind of knocked it out of the park. Gonna have a good amount of fun with this guy. I think he's looks like he'll be a joy to pose up and play around with a bit. So if you are in the market for him, definitely would say he's one worth grabbing. So I am going to go ahead and keep playing around with him, get him all posed up and on the shelf. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.